to me it speaks. The label Orthodox is really, it's limiting because it cuts somebody out. It cuts people that aren't Orthodox out.
Yeah.
And there might be someone who's not Orthodox that's actually more Orthodox than Orthodox. To me, Orthodox, you know, the baseline is keeping Shabbos, keeping kosher, and the laws of family purity. I mean, pretty much that's the, you do that, they consider you Orthodox. What's kept me there?
Yeah.
I dig God. I dig it. And, you know, obviously I wouldn't consider myself ultra Orthodox. I'm cool Orthodox. You know, there are certain things that I'm not performing on Friday nights, not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'll work it out that I'm at a hotel or somewhere nearby. It's not going to conflict. Kosher, you know, I go to different events. Some places you can't eat. That's life. You don't eat. Done. Imagine if you were allergic to peanuts and they were serving peanuts in it. Would you eat the peanuts? No, because you could die. It's not for you. So the same thing with me. It's not kosher. I don't eat it. It's done. I know I've learned a lot in my life the laws of kosher. So I know what I can have in different settings. Once you know, then you feel comfortable. I can go anywhere and do anything and still keep kosher. I'm cool like that. It comes from knowledge. What kept me Orthodox? As a Jew, it's my past. It's who I am going back thousands of years. I have a connection all the way back to Abraham, to Abraham. You know what I mean? So what's kept me there is probably the same thing that kept me in the fold when I was a teenager, which is a sense of purpose. I have a purpose. I have something to carry on. I have something from me going back in time, and I have something to give from me going forward. That sense of purpose is what should, in theory, keep someone held to their beliefs.
So why did you move to Los Angeles in '93?
At the time, I had just finished college. I was working in the t-shirt business, and I was living in Baltimore selling t-shirts to different schools. In December of '93, my parents moved from Baltimore to Houston, Texas. There was no way in hell I was going to Houston, Texas. So it was either go back to New York, which I really wasn't looking forward to, or try something new. I was thinking maybe Miami, because I'd been there a couple times, or try Los Angeles. I had friends in Los Angeles, why not? And I'd always loved Los Angeles. I mean, you watch movies like Less Than Zero, The Breakfast Club back in the day. LA was cool back then. And I moved out, and I had friends out here, and it was great, and that's really why. Had I stayed in New York, I would have hated Judaism. I would have hated being Jewish. I came out here, I saw on the East Coast, in Baltimore, in New York, there's really one type of Jew, and that's white, Ashkenazic, European Jew, by and large, back then. Now, and I moved out to LA, and I met hippie Jews, I met, you know, every kind of Jew around. All Persian Jews. I never met a Persian Jew. One Persian. Black Jews. Like, this is awesome. You got Jews of the whole rainbow. I love it. Different outlooks, different perspective, different levels of observance, different levels of non-observance. I met people that didn't keep Shabbos or kosher that were more connected to God than people that have curls and black hair. Like, to me, it was amazing to meet Jews of different walks of life. It's just an eclectic bunch here, and that's what I loved about it. It opened my eyes to, you know, it's interesting. On the East Coast, growing up in Baltimore, as I said, there's really only one kind of Jew. In New York, also the same thing. When I went to Israel, I saw a lot of different kinds of Jews in Israel, like every kind. I have friends in Israel that from like the frum with the robes and hardcore, all the way down to, like, you know, lesbians. It doesn't matter to me. But it was great to see and spend Shabbos with all these different people when I was in Israel. And I saw that there was more than meets the eye with this Jewish thing. And I never really, what you see me as now, it was really the observance that I've been most of my life. I'm more knowledgeable, so I'm able to keep more. I know how to apply more in different situations. So it's easier now than it was then, when you're kind of trying to find yourself and take it all in. You know, when you're 15, the main topic of Jewish study is Shomer Negiah. You know what I mean? Like, to me, oh, Shomer Negiah. Like, I can tell you, I know every law of Shomer Negiah. But in the end, you know, you get down to substance. And I had the ability in Israel and going forward to have the opportunity to ask questions. And you see me, you know me well enough to know I don't have a problem asking anything. Anything. And I have a very unique way of presenting it, and I'll get the answer. And I made sure I got the answers. And going to Aish, I got answers. And going to Tzfat, I got answers. And hanging out with the rabbis in the yeshivas, I got answers. I made sure I had answers. And once you have those answers, you know how to better apply them in the different scenarios that you're going to be in going forward in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what kept me in the loop. I dug it. It felt right. It feels good. You're a part of a group. As an independent guy, I don't fit any mold. You know what's interesting? As a teenager, you don't know. I remember trying to dress like a preppy. I dressed like a jock, hang out with the jocks and hang out with the frummer. I was trying to find my place. And as I got older, I realized, you know, there's no real place for me. There's no subgroup of, I'm friends with everybody, but where do I really fit in? You don't. I don't, at least. A lot of people do, more conformist or more just play by the rules and everything. I was never that guy. From day one, I was never that guy. Even my, you know, being adopted is not a norm in the Orthodox Jewish world. At least not back then. So I never really knew my place. What I knew was that I was a well-liked kid. I knew that I was smart, and I knew that I had a purpose, whether it was in the youth group NCSY, whether it was in the greater picture of Judaism. I had a role, I had a place. And that kept me in the loop, because when you have a purpose, you have something to live for. You have something to grow and make yourself better for. That's what kept me in the loop.
How does a musician make a living these days in an age of rampant piracy?
It's hard. It's hard. But I laid the foundation for my career early on when music was good. So I still get calls, and I still get more. And obviously, you know, my price has gone up. It's had to be negotiated a bit more because of the economy. You still want to get the gigs. I already came out with a second album. I'm still involved in production and, you know, music. I'm involved in music. And being involved in music doesn't necessarily mean you're performing all the time. I perform a little less. I'm married. I got a family. You know, so taking care of the kids and work out of the house, the studio. I still go on tour, record, do sound in multiple ways. Being a creative allows you the freedom to do all kinds of things to generate income. Selling CDs is not the money maker anymore, as it once was, but there are a lot of other ways of doing it. You know, the CD now is basically the business card for the musician. From there, the live shows, the merchandise, specifically attributed to the music, is what will keep the living going.
How has the Orthodox community in Los Angeles reacted to you?
They like me. They're cool to me. I've never been a guy. Everybody knows me as an outspoken guy. Say what's on my mind. I don't have that filter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think for a lot of people, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't play the game. But remember, I'm in the Orthodox world, but I'm also an outsider to the Orthodox world, because I'm not. I go to shul every Shabbos. I daven. I do all the community things, but I'm not in the loop so much that